Good morning. So today is going to be part two on Do You Know Your Opponent? Um, Yesterday, I just briefly touched on understanding the concept of knowing who you're battling, studying how we are attacked on a daily basis, and also as well as how Satan has gotten a foothold in our lives to begin with, and for some of us, even planted a stronghold into our lives, and how we can get free of that. So, the number one way that Satan enters into your life is through trauma. And that can be trauma as an adult or trauma when you were a child. It can be neglect. It can be both physical abuse, mental abuse. It can be sexual abuse, molestation, rape. An abortion can also be a traumatic experience on a woman, especially if she doesn't want to have it, or if she goes in thinking that she's fine, and then once that experience happens, it implants trauma into her life because you start to feel the guilt, the remorse, the shame. So that is another way. But basically, any type of traumatic event, if you have dealt with trauma in your life at some point in time and you have never healed from that trauma, you've never gotten help from that trauma, then that is a big, big doorway for Satan to have a stronghold in your life. One thing about trauma is it happens to both men and women. Trauma does not uh, discriminate in any kind of way. And the thing is so I'm going to use myself as an example. So I had a traumatic experience as a teenager, and that opened up a huge door into anger, bitterness, hatred to an extent, an unhealthy view of relationships, and an unhealthy view of the opposite sex, like men. And also not dealing with the trauma ever. One of the things that I did because I didn't want to really discuss it, and it was like something I didn't want to talk about, so I just repressed it. I kind of made it go away in my mind, but deep down it didn't go away, and that festered into other things. So I didn't learn until I had got saved that the so through the trauma that I experienced, and from repressing it and not speaking about it, not healing from it, not getting therapy, I later realized that like I had used alcohol and weed in order to deal with that trauma. It wasn't until I got saved that God showed me where a lot of like the issues in my life came from. Um, so for me, when I realized that trauma was a major, major gateway for um, demonic oppression, I immediately took it to God. And through, taking it to God through prayer, I kind of just laid the trauma down. And I just said, if you can heal me from this, I will never, look back, and I will dedicate my life to serving you. And he did. Am I saying that that's all you need to do? Not for everybody. Some people, it's going to take getting therapy and working through it. But you definitely want to deal with any trauma that you've had in your life, because that is a major way that the demons will have a stronghold in your life. Um, Also, with trauma, it opens up other gateways. So you end up with fear, you can end up with rebellion. There's so many things that through trauma the devil is able to push into our lives. Um, so I will make a part three. We will start discussing some other ways that the demons get a foothold into your life. Tomorrow, I will address some different things. One of the things I do want to make sure I talk about is generational